Becoming the expert of you is a process. It requires attention in order to learn more about yourself. But this process of learning is not linear. You don't just learn something and move on to the next stage to learn the next thing. It actually looks different. I have always been a little above average when it came to learning. I was smart enough to just pass the requirements to be a part of GATE, Gifted and Talented Education, where they bust you to another school for a special class to learn new things, advanced things, but I struggled in those classes. You see, even though I was a little smarter than the rest, the advanced courses were too advanced. But I was a good test taker. I knew how to follow directions and picked up on what the teacher wanted from us. I never really fit in well with those kids that were really smart, and they knew it. They knew I wasn't as smart as them. But I was too embarrassed to admit that I didn't know what they knew, so I just stayed silent and tried my best to fit in. And because I was a little bit smarter than the average kids, when I was in regular classrooms, these students didn't like me either. The work was mostly easy, and I prided myself for acing my tests. But because the teachers often graded on a curve, you can only imagine the bothered faces when their scores had to remain the same because of my A. I wasn't the popular kid. I was the silent one, not belonging to either world. I learned how to be on my own. Communication was an issue for me. It's possible that because Spanish was my first language, translating information in my head was another factor to consider when trying to express myself. In Spanish, when you describe something, the adjective and noun are switched compared to English. However, in my writing, I noticed that my thoughts would also flip. Phrases or sentences would get mixed up when I tried to write. My ending thought would arrive first before the rest. You could say that this mirrors an expansion of dyslexia, only instead of letters and numbers, it's actual words, phrases, and sentences that flip for me when they come out of my head. As an adult, my learning changed, as does a lot of other things, because we rarely stay the same. We evolve at different rates and at different times. I noticed that I struggled with the simple concepts, the things the average people understood, like jokes and basic information. I needed graphs and charts to understand, and for the information to be repeated again and again and in different ways. Because of this, I was often laughed at, and that's when I was teased for being a tuturu, a dummy of sorts. I didn't mind the teasing. I had grown up being teased most of my childhood. This was nothing new. If anything, I learned how to laugh at myself, to embrace the way my mind would vary in its ability to understand and process information, going from one extreme to the other, sometimes understanding complex information quickly and other times having a blank stare with the simplest of information. To this day, my ability to learn, process, and translate myself varies. But I'm no longer afraid to ask for help, to stop the person from speaking and ask them to repeat it or show me how to understand it better. And even after they repeat the information, I don't mind asking them again. And I still go home and look it up because I know that I am a multimodal learner. So when I realized that learning is not linear, I was shocked. I saw how my experience moved from one extreme to the other and then repeated. That's when it dawned on me. Life is full of cycles. I had not known we were living a life of cycles and that experiences repeat, just in a slightly different way. When I was finally alone, I saw it. And once you see something, you can't unsee it. When I worked with my clients, I noticed it there too. They were stuck in cycles and they didn't even know it, repeating lessons over and over and over again in different ways. I saw it, and now all I see are cycles. When I hear the stories of people's lives, I see the patterns, the cycles that repeat, and I know what they need to do differently. But I stay quiet because it is their life. And unless they ask me, I won't share. I allow. I am learning how to provide mutual respect for the process of change. Because what kind of life are we creating if we don't honor the individual processes of people's ability to learn their own lessons at their own time? I allow. because trying to convince someone of anything is just another form of force. And force is not for me. We already live in a world full of force. People forcing others to do things they don't want to do. People holding themselves back from following their passions. Groups resisting or forcing change. People in power enforcing laws and policies that not everyone agrees to. Countries forcing groups of people out of their homes in different ways. Force is force and looks different in many ways. No, force is not something I want to continue to perpetuate. I choose to allow to be one less person forcing an idea or anything for that matter onto anyone else's path. Instead, I choose to focus on me, to learn more about me, to become the expert of me and my well-being. Because in order for us to undo the cycles of force in our history, we need to do something different. And it starts with me at the individual level, to balance myself out so that it ripples out into the world and so that the balance of the world may come. I choose me because the future of the world I want to create starts with my well-being first. My name is Yubi, and this is my transformed truth. Thank you for watching You Becoming Healed, where I model and teach you how to own and transform your truth for healing. Until next time. Don't forget to join our weekly Q&A groups to ask your questions and learn how to better navigate your healing journey. Just to recap, we have the Dream Decoders group on Mondays, the Balanced Healing group on Wednesdays, and the Body Experts group on Fridays. Can't decide which one to join? No problem. Consider our core membership option, which gives you access to all three. All three groups start at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. The links are found in the description box below. See you there!